A very good evening to everyone. My name is Tanveer Mohammed Masood, and I'm a teacher by profession, and I teach in a school named Tawhid International School. And today I'll be talking on education and learning, as well as knowledge achievement, the significance of these elements. You know, as far as I'm concerned, I think it's quite essential for each and every individual, at least in this part of the world, to get the basics of educational standards. Now, such is the scenario prevailing in this part of the world that until unless a person is properly educated, he or she won't be able to go about in his or her life properly. I think the constitution of our country has also made it clear that it is uh, you know quite necessary for all of us to get a proper education or come to a proper standard of education. The job that is being done by the private sector or people, educational institutions which are in the private sector, as well as government institutions, are is basically outstanding. Of late, a lot of educational institutions have come up and they are giving quality education to youngsters, kids, as well as people who are aspiring for higher education. They're also getting good education from these institutions. The importance of achieving newer and better things, newer knowledge, and getting proper education cannot be overlooked and cannot be underestimated at any point of time. As far as I'm concerned, I think um, getting education and achieving new knowledge system and learning new things is basically part and parcel of upgrading oneself with the current changes that are taking place as far as the learning system is concerned. One has to keep on learning. I think learning never stops. Such is the methodology of learning. Such is the gravity of learning, that it never stops at one stage or at one point of time. One has to go on learning. One has to keep on appraising himself or herself with the current standards of learning. Right. So, for example, in the legal world, a lot of modifications, a lot of amendments takes place. So people who are associated with the legal world, or people who are remotely connected with the legal world, they have to keep themselves in touch with whatever modifications and amendments that are taking place. So this is quite essential. Same is the scenario prevailing in the educational system as well. The educational system has evolved of late. It is modifying. It is innovating itself. So uh, teachers, professors, and learners, educators, they have to keep on pressing themselves, keep on keeping tab on the standard changes that are happening in this particular sector, in this particular profession. So one has to be in touch totally with whatever modifications and amendments that are taking place in his or her profession. So this basically goes to show that the learning system never ends. The process of learning never ends at one state, or rather at one stage. So one has to go on learning. One has to keep on learning, and it is a gradual process. And like I said, amendments do take place, so one has to keep on appraising himself, keep on keeping in touch with the appraisals, keep on teaching, keep on working with the whatever modifications, amendments that are taking place. So this is one part of it. Now the basic education is very important for all of us. When a kid is growing up, that particular kid has to be given the basics of education. So for example, mathematics. The basics of mathematics is necessary for a kid when he or she is growing up. If you say, if a mother is asking a kid to go to the shopkeeper and bring some groceries, so the kid has to ensure that he has got in his kitty the elementary mathematical knowledge. Say for example, addition, subtraction, sum, doing, or summing up of how to sum up monies. So sorry, sorry. In this way, he or she would be able to go about with the initial part of his learning system. So mathematics, elements of mathematics, elementary system mathematics is necessary when a child is growing up. This is very important. Now again, the significance of English language also cannot be overlooked and underestimated. Now, English language is very, very essential these days. Most of the books, most of the documents, legal, non-legal documents, educational documents, forms, performers, everything, they come in, either Hindi or English. And in some places they are also found in regional languages, but most of the times we basically find that they are in English language. So the basics of English knowledge is quite essential. Reading, writing, and spoken English language is quite essential. If a person is not able to give his or her initials on any document or read a document properly, then that would be a great trouble for that person. So this shows how important English language is in this part of the world. I'm not trying to underestimate other languages. They are also important, equally important in their own way. Excuse me. But as far as English language is concerned, it's quite essential. Now, this shows that uh, educational system and education has to be interconnected and interrelated with each other. All right, both needs to run hand in hand. Both have to be properly connected with each other, so that any disbalance between the two might create a situation where there'll be pedagogical upsetting, and there might be educational fallout, or maybe educational repercussions to it. So this is what I have to say regarding the education system. The literacy rate of the country has to be pumped up. The more the literacy rate, the better the reflection of the country in the international scheme of things would be. So the educational rate and the literacy rate of a country basically shows the standard of living of that particular country. And the better the standard of living of the country, the better would be the economy of that country. So a lot of things depends upon upon the educational system of any country, and the education standards of the people of that country. It's not like that people who are not educated, people who have low education standards, they cannot have a high standard of living. It's not like that. People with low grade education can get proper and better standard of living and better living system, in certain scenarios. In most of the scenarios there are examples to it. But then if proper education can give or can guarantee most of the times that the standard of living is quite good in any part of the world. So literacy rate has to be pumped up at any cost, and it is up to the people who are basically uh, taking initiative to educate their children, educate their yeah, their kids, and to educate their wards for that matter. They have to ensure that they get consistent and continuous education, so as to ensure that their standard of living is up to the mark, and as a result of that, the entire country's economy would be pumped up. So this is what I have to say today for as far as the education system and education is concerned. Thank you.